Manus AI just came out with a crazy email update that is bigger than anything we've seen in a while. And yeah, the internet is buzzing about different image generators and Google's new banana tool, but I think this is bigger in terms of making money online. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to be using Manus email in my business in a really specific way. We're actually going to talk about over 6 ways that you can use this in a business, and one of them is going to knock your socks off. This is something that's so powerful and it takes all the tedious junk away so that we can focus on getting sales and conversions. This is super important, so pay close attention. Today, we're going to be looking at Manus AI and the email capabilities. There's several things we can do here, from sending an email to Manus to get a task done, or even having this automated, which we're going to cover right here, right now. Come on, let's go to work. All right, so what is Manus email and how does it work and why is it important to us? First of all, we got to go over and show you how to get it. What you're going to do is you're going to go to Manus right here like this. You're going to click on these little settings icons right like this, and then you're going to go over here and see Mail Manus. In this tab, you can actually set up emails for emailing to, okay? It has to be from a certain email. So there's 3 emails you're allowed to have emails accepted from for your custom address. So your custom address is going to be here. It'll be something at manus.bot. Very simple. So now what that means is I can actually email that address, and anything that goes to that address is going to be like its own task within Manus. Now I've been playing around with being able to have multiple emails and being able to forward things automatically. More about that in just a minute and why it's important. Now, when you get 3 different emails, what this means is that these 3 emails will be set up to allow Manus to take the email and have it in its system, right? It's very simple, very easy. So if I was to go over to my email right over here like this and hit compose new email, what I could do is I could actually go over right like this and type in something like my email right like this, okay? This is gonna be my Manus email. Now, once I go in here, I can do a subject line, say, hi there, tell me the weather. Or you could even say like, write me an article or follow this list or whatever it is. Then we're gonna go ahead and hit send. And what you're gonna notice is there's gonna be a new tab that pops up in Manus right here. Once it gets that email, and it'll actually start parsing that in a very, very simple way. You'll see it create in just a minute. Sometimes you need to refresh the page to see it, but it'll show up right up here if you're sending from the right email. Now, it looks like I sent it to the wrong email. I did manus.im, so let's just go ahead and do this here. Compose, there we go, manus.bot. Hi there, tell me the weather in the major cities in the world. And what it'll do is it'll actually send this to Manus, and it'll create that new box right up here. You'll see it pop up right here if we did it correctly, which we should have. I know the other one did not, but it'll come up here, and once it gets that email, it'll start parsing it and creating its own little job from it, which is really cool. There it is. See that new chat right there? Weather in major cities worldwide. So it's going to go through and do a task. Now, I don't even have to open it for it to work. It just gets the email and goes off to the races, which is really cool. Now, we want to go through and look at this in a very, very specific way. When we're looking at this, we want to say, okay, how does it work? Well, what it's doing is it's taking the email that I have set, it's taking emails from that address, parsing them in there. Now, these could be anything. I can actually go through and have it send automated forwarding and things like that. What this is good for is getting content. So I can go through and I can sign up for several different newsletters. I can get content and get ideas for content and have Manus AI actually go through and parse it and give me data and content and things like that. I can get video ideas. I can say, stay on top of emails from, Washington Post or whatever it is in your market that works. Maybe it's an AI newsletter. Maybe it's something for local realtors or something like that. Or maybe you're even using like Zillow, where you find new houses on the market and you want to talk about the housing industry or whatever it is. Obviously, make sure it's ethical and good, and make sure you're doing honest things and using this the right way. Don't use content you don't own. And if you are gleaning from other content, make sure that you make it your own and you add enough of your own slant on it that it works. Now, number 3, this is good for news and updates. I could go through and I can get different news in my market. I can get updates, all kinds of things like that, where the emails will come in, they'll go to Manus, and it'll just create tasks. And instead of going to email, now I can go to Manus. And you can see how this works here, where it shows exactly how to set it up and everything like that. It's actually very easy. All it is an email piper, I think it is, where it pipes in the email, and it's actually taking that and using it. So this is very important. There's going to be a lot of things coming up with it. You can also use this to stay on top of your market. Like, let's say you have several copywriters that you like learning from, and you get their emails. You could go through, take their emails and say, hey, what are they talking about? Maybe get a weekly synopsis or a monthly synopsis or something like that. I'm hoping that Manus allows us to be able to create a job per email. Like, okay, emails from this one, make sure that it creates this job. That way, it's not like one email equals one task. However, I'm going to show you in just a minute how this works so that we can build and grow a business in a very simple way. Now, going through here, we can also see, yes, we can stay on top of our market. We can also go through and teach it a style. So maybe there's like 5 email people in your market that you really like their styles and they get a lot of traction, kind of like thought leaders. You can actually use this and say, hey, Manus, learn from these. This is your guidepost of what to do. Then you can create emails like that as well. Now, let's get to number 6, which is my favorite. This is gonna blow you away. This is something that's really cool that you can start using right now. Again, make sure you check the ethics. Make sure you look at this like a business. Obviously, results are not guaranteed. However, I have used this to make a lot of money, but the vast majority of people trying to make money online make nothing. I'll tell you a little story. Back in 2008, when I first started teaching affiliate marketing, yes, I started my business in 1999. 9 years later, I started teaching this, and it wasn't until 2017 that I really got into making these videos, which I really enjoy. It's like a creative outlet for me, and that's why we got the new office. I'll give you a little tour in our next video tomorrow on our live stream. But at any rate, back when I first started teaching, we did a campaign where people would come in, they'd put their name and email, right? So it would look like this. They would come into our site right here. They would put their name and email in a box. So we had our landing page here. They would put their name and email. Let's see if we have our name and email here. It's an old program I used to use that I really, really like. So it would have like a little video or something, and then they would opt in. We'll just write opt in because you'll get the idea, okay? So we'll go here and they will opt in email. That's when they put their name and email in so that they can get something. Then on the next page, what I did is I actually had a form they can fill out. It's a little form mail. I used it last week at a conference and it worked crazy. So I'll show you exactly how this works. It would go through, we would have another page that they would go to and say, thank you for subscribing, check your email for your free gift, right? The gift would be like, you know, an ebook or a list of something or something helpful based on what they're in. If they were in, you know, workout market, maybe you give them your top workouts. So this would be your thank you page. And on the thank you page, when I first started my business, what I did is I had a little box that they could fill out that would say, hey, put your name, put your email. And I would carry the name and email from this page already, which is cool. And then I would ask them some questions. Now, what I did is I had a text field that would be like, tell me your number one question about making money online. Since I was in this market of making money online, this was very important to me because if they told me in their own words what they wanted, I could get a lot of data, which was great. I would read it and learn about my market. And then what I would do is I'd actually write them back and thank them for their answer. And then I would try to sell them something. And the sales rate on that email, because they personally asked me something, I personally responded, was through the roof, right? Like if you send an email, you're lucky to get like 0.5% of the people who open and click the email to actually buy. Usually like 1% is really good on an email direct offer. However, this one we're doing the personal touch, which means I'm like, hey, I noticed your problem. Here's how we can help you. Here's a link, something like that, and customize a solution for them. So what I did is I found out that when I have something like this, which is what I built last week for my business, it's a little video tool that people can use to help them do their videos and stuff like that. And what I did is I had a free channel audit, right? So they could put in their channel or their blog or whatever it is and they can get an audit. They fill it out. And I was like, okay, I can respond personally, which is really cool. And then Manus email came out, and I'm like, wait a minute. What if I could use Manus email and have the emails go from this form to Manus, have Manus do the workaround of what they want? Watch how this works. This is crazy. Now, a quick little side note, when using this for email, make sure that you disclose that you are sharing the information with Manus AI, or you could also just include like the first part of it and not pass the entire email over to the form, and then you can follow up manually. So what we could do is we could actually have it go to 2, where 1, it sends it to my email so I get the lead. This is good, that way I know when I have a lead. And then 2, it can send it to Manus without the personal information in it. That way we're covered with all of the third-party stuff. So I'll go through and I'll put like Bob, let's say Bob, we'll just do Bob at whatever.com. And then you can put in their channel URL. Let's say we wanted to do Talk Sober, that's my other channel. Okay, so right like that, and then you can put in all their other info, how many views they get, stuff like that, and it's really cool. And then you could say, what's your biggest struggle? I can't get traffic and sales, or whatever, okay? Now what's gonna happen here is they're gonna apply for the free audit, which would normally come to my email, I would read it, I would do all the work. But instead, what's gonna happen is this is actually gonna go into Manus as a new job, right? So as we go into Manus, that pops up right here, application for free channel. So when it goes here, this is actually gonna go through, it's gonna read their info, it's gonna look at their stuff, right? So like, let's say you're in the mortgage market or house price market, and you're like, hey, how much is your house worth? How much do you owe? This will go through, look at it. As you can see, it's looking at the site and everything, and it's gonna give you that data. So all you have to do is kind of copy and paste, make it in your own words, obviously fact-checked and everything, but now you could go through and build this in a really, really cool way. This is where you could go through and use this with lead gen and personal responses. I mean, the conversion rate is through the roof when you do stuff like this, and the key is just focusing on what they want. Think about it like an agency. Maybe you can go through and say, hey, what are your main social media channels? What do you struggle with? Where do you want to go? Boom, it's going to do the audit. Obviously check it out and make it good, but it's going to do that initial audit so that you don't have to think about it. And for me, sitting down and answering these is tedious, so I never do it. I don't want to go look at everything. But if Manus is doing that for me and it gives me a little slideshow of what I could use, I mean, I could technically make a video response. I could go through right like this and say, now make a video response of this, right? We could go to, let's do this one I did, and say, now make this a video response or a slideshow or something like that, and boom, there we go. We have something personal. This is something that works really well if you think about it in a different way. When you start to think about this, it's a game changer. I'm going to be using this in my personal responses here because we actually are doing this on a domain site, which is really cool. And using it for lead gen is game changer. If you want to watch more videos like this, I'll make some. Let me know as a comment below. You can get the notes and some other stuff to help you with this, some other things I'm doing, some flowcharts and some different templates and things like that to be able to use this in a big way. Now, I want to leave you with this because this is the future. This is something where I foresee it's going to start taking over your email and responding to things that you don't want to respond to. Obviously, it's got a ways to go, but I think this is going to be really, really good and really important. So if you like staying on top of all this stuff, check out AIProfitScoop.com. We got behind the scenes videos. We got the new office set up to give you the best in AI business education for people who want to build a business from the ground up, including vibe coding and all kinds of things like that. So smash the like button, subscribe, check out the videos in the description, and I'll see you over at AIProfitScoop.com.